What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as did you buy to BTC. We're also going to be looking at two articles, very interesting, I thought I'd share. One is by News BTC discussing why Bitcoin price may soon recover to $10,000, as well as Brockport agreeing to pay $24 million in a penalty for an unregistered EOS ICO. Very interesting. Very important that you guys should all hear about. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure subscribing, turning on post notifications, leaving a giant thumbs up, and let's jump into today's episode. So guys, as I said in today's video, we have a ton to discuss. Also check out, we're at 11.6 thousand subscribers, almost at 12,000 subscribers. Like I've said in the past, once this reaches 12,000 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway to get us up there. So that is some huge incentive to get us to 12,000 subscribers. This way I can keep pumping out great content, as well as giving you guys bonuses for, helping grow the channel, as well as pushing information and making YouTube more important and finding out and pushing better or different content that other YouTubers haven't. Otherwise, moving on to these articles that are very interesting and very intriguing. We're going to start off with why Bitcoin price may soon recover to $10,000. Very interesting, but I do have a lot I have to agree with. This is saying Bitcoin technicals flip bullish, short term I might add. Yesterday, all analysts and their mothers were calling Bitcoin to fall to the low 7,000s. One analyst, for instance, said that the cryptocurrency seemed posed to collapse due to a number of factors: a lack of extreme negative funding, increasing negative delta at range support, a perceived exhaustion in buying support, and a large imbalance in volume, all implying that Bitcoin has a bearish skew heading into coming daily trade sessions. Well, where it gets interesting is when you scroll down, we go to fundamentals back a price recovery, which I'd like to discuss with you guys today in Litecoin and Bitcoin and the other altcoins. But basically, the fundamentals seem to support a price recovery as well. Speaking to the independents in the week of last week's price decline, eToro analyst Simon Peters marked that Bitcoin's hash rate is still strong. As we know, its hash rate is very important, and it has yet to decrease since the price has dropped as well. And adoption of crypto is still moving forward at pace, which is why I try to push this channel. This channel is bringing crypto adoption to real world, and I'm trying to find more examples. A little bit harder here in Rochester, but when I head back to Long Island and New Jersey, there are a ton of opportunities to share with you. But basically, we could see the price rise back up to $10,000 within the space of next month, which is very soon to throw in. Now that pretty much sums up this episode, or this article. The next one that we want to discuss is this block ICO EOS getting nailed for $24 million. Absolutely wild. So the SEC, or the Securities and Exchange Commission, announced on Monday that it has settled charges against blockchain builder Block.one for conducting an unregistered ICO. The firm has agreed to pay $24 million penalty. Block.one is the company behind the EOS blockchain. It conducted an ICO between 2017 and 2018, which raised $14.1 billion. Wild. So what I'm getting, and I guess I'll read this really quick, in an announcement, the regular states that Block.one did not register its ICO as a securities offering, while a number of U.S. investors participated in the Block.one ICO. There you go. It did not provide ICO investors with information they were entitled to as participants in a security offering, said another co-director of division enforcement. The SEC remains committed to bringing enforcement cases and investors are deprived of material information. So I'm not too sure how much I know about registering coin or ICOs back in 2017, 2018. This information may have been public then, but it does make sense. But for a cryptocurrency ICO to raise $4.1 billion is quite a bit of funding, and it's coins like that and ICOs like that that really, the SEC is trying to crack down on because they owe quite a bit of money. So a penalty of $24 million off a $4.1 billion, investment isn't really that big when you think of the grand scheme of things, but it makes you think, these cryptocurrencies and these companies, you really have to be careful with which ICOs you're investing in and paying attention to. That's why I try to stay away from them. But it seems like in 2019, the SEC is really trying to crack down on ICOs in the past that have been targeting U.S. residents and trying to make money off of them without necessarily reporting their funding and reporting specific information to these clients. So it's definitely very interesting. I'm sure this is one of just many the SEC is looking into cracking down on, as well as these are the bigger ICOs. You know, you have to consider the smaller ICOs that aren't this big to get on the SEC's, radar just yet, but they are, targeting, the US and people all around the world. So you do have to be careful because they may not be as transparent as you think. So definitely keep this in mind when investing in ICOs. I've made videos on ICOs. I've talked about it. You definitely have to do your background research, and it's especially harder for the SEC to crack down on these companies if they're international or overseas or have less, transparency. They're hard for them to crack down on. So definitely something to pay attention to. I wanted to bring that to your attention. I thought that was interesting for those EOS hodlers. What do you have to say about that? If you're a big fan of the EOS company and Block.one, what do you think about the SEC cracking down on something like this? I know it's semi-unrelated to EOS itself, but it is behind the EOS blockchain, so it is something to consider. Now, to jump into the current coin market cap, I know you guys are very interested in this. We're looking at the current coin market cap right now. Volume is coming back, guys. Very small, but there is volume coming back. 24-hour volume, 57 billion, and we're seeing the market cap slowly rise up. Out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies are having a very nice day. I believe only 3 out of the 10 are down. The ones that are up aren't really up by much, 2 to maybe 3%. And you're starting to see the break in this sideways consolidation, zero movement, scalability that we're seeing. So still there are quite a bit of coins trading sideways. We're starting to see that little, tail right here, this tail end, starting to break to higher levels. But for the most part, the coins are starting to dip upwards, which is nice to see. And I want to show you guys how that's reflected in these coins. So the past couple of days, and how this ties into the article we discussed a second ago with, where is it? The fundamentals back a price recovery. So in regards to that, the price recovery that we're referring to. So when I look at charts like this, I'm seeing a few things. We're looking at Bitcoin on its daily. We have to consider that we were oversold yesterday, and we still are kind of on the surface of being oversold as well, but we're also paying attention to a strong support we hit, sideways consolidation the past couple of days. That's another indicator. We just came down from a major bear run, a major bearish pull to the downside, and we're also seeing the high-low middle moving average and the Fibonacci levels trace, up here, and we're below it, which gives us a strong signal in the short term of things that we're going to potentially pull up. Now, I discussed in yesterday's video that on the weekly, Bitcoin doesn't look as great. And here's my reasoning behind that. So a lot of other TA analysts use something called the price or percentage of the mouth of a breakout, which is a strong thing to use. It is fairly accurate. And you can see here, this is a 46% jump. So we trace this down to a 46% jump, on the point of breakout, which is right here. So this 46% jump brings us down to about right, wow, this is much lower, about right here. It is quite low. So you can see right here. So this is my concern for a play like this, is that there is still room for us on the weekly to break lower. Maybe I didn't track this right, but this is about, 46%. And this is 46% as well, give or take. So this does indicate that there is still room for this coin to break lower. And that is something we have to pay close attention to. That means that in the future, we could still be looking at a potential bear pullback. We are still potentially in this bearish market in the long term, but in the short term, we do look quite nice. Retesting the relative strength indicator, retesting the Fibonacci levels. We're not just yet at the high-low MMA. We are still floating above it, which I can show you right now. You can see right now we are still floating above it right here. So this does give us a great concern that we could still be heading lower. I'd say the lowest maybe 7,300, but in the short term right now, we are, pushing a potential retracement, a potential recovery, inevitably something that would raise us up on the RSI to around 50, which is pretty much something like this. But then once we hit a more stable price, we could fall lower This is what I'm, insisting on. Now, not that low, but maybe something like this could definitely be in the woodwork. So that's something we have to pay attention to. A quick pump fake, something that gets us back into recovery and then sends us down much lower. That's what I want you guys to pay close attention to. That if you are planning on investing, we're looking for that short-term gain that we're seeing right now, but eventually a quick reversal down to the downside. That's what these charts are indicating. And you can see that the other cryptos are really lagging behind. Ethereum and Litecoin, Digibyte are all lagging behind Bitcoin. For reasons being, this is huge, guys. You don't have to do much technical analysis to really understand some textbook, trading and some textbook patterns. When you see sideways manipulation, sideways trading, sideways consolidation with zero movement, trading flatlined on the RSI, on the oversold level, there is zero movement the past couple of days. I'm not going to count this major downtrend, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days now. 1 week of just sideways trading. The price has pretty much opened and closed around $53 to $56. That's really not much wiggle room. And with that being said, this sideways trading indicates and proves that markets are going to get some sort of volume come into the market. Now, I don't want to be super bullish on the fact that we could just massively skyrocket up retesting Fibonacci's, but that is definitely a consideration in the fact that we just hit another bear market. We just hit another break to the downside. And the fact that all the indicators are kind of pushing us towards a short-term recovery, we may indefinitely see the prices shoot back up to around $70 very quickly. Once again, because of the fact that Bitcoin is still nearing oversold on its daily and not near oversold on its weekly, gives us indication that the same thing would happen with Litecoin. A potential recovery to 70 followed by lower retracements down to, who knows, $40 is something we have to pay close attention to. That if you do catch this next bull run, which may happen very soon, it is going to probably reverse and fall back down. So you have to get in and get out. Set your stop losses and get ready for a quick reinvestment. Moving on to Digibyte. Digibyte is trading sideways. We're starting to see the same pattern happen within Bitcoin. Moving on to Ethereum really quick. I don't want this video to go too long. Ethereum looks great. Retesting once again its Fibonacci levels. You can see right now we're kind of hitting a strong resistance and we're pulling back down to lower levels. But we look great all in all. It's interesting that this coin is trading better than the other cryptos, trading at almost 50 on the RSI. Just pretty much retesting its Fibonacci levels, and we're starting to pull back down from here. Seems like this is foreshadowing what Bitcoin and Litecoin could be doing, but for the most part, my focus is on Bitcoin right now. You can see Digibyte is also starting to trend upwards and has plenty of movement and momentum on its weekly to head all the way up to its Fibonacci levels, very high, so definitely pay close attention to that. Even on its daily, I don't think it looks too bad. Actually, on its daily, we're overbought. That's an interesting thing to check out. So I'm glad I looked at this, guys. But by the looks of this, by the means of Digibyte on its daily, it looks like it needs a short-term pullback and a short-term recovery, potentially below its Fibonacci levels, potentially retesting previous support right here. But for the most part, my biggest focus is on Bitcoin and Litecoin. Bitcoin finally getting back into a more neutral area on its RSI. Still potentially a move to the upside in the woodworks, as well as Litecoin following. But you can see this is my biggest concern. This is going to be huge, guys. So definitely pay close attention to this. And we're going to be talking about this probably by today or tomorrow. It's going to burst in some sort of direction. I think more bullish now. But otherwise, guys, that's going to sum up today's episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Right here, click this button, the subscribe button on your channel. Click that subscribe for new videos. Thank you guys for watching yesterday's video. I know a lot of you guys liked it, but we're starting to get some momentum back into the markets, and it's starting to show that people are gaining more interest in cryptocurrency and they're not just getting upset. But otherwise, if you're new to the channel, like I said, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.